So guys, today we will learn the Log4j2 implementation in Spring Boot. Spring Boot uses Apache Commons login for all internal logging. Spring Boot's default configurations provides a support for the use of Java util logging, Log4j and Logback. Using this, we can configure the console logging as well as file logging. Spring Boot's default logging uses Logback, which is included as a transitive dependency. Spring Boot support Log4j for logging configuration if it is on the class path. To integrate Log4j2 in our Spring Boot application, we need two steps. First, remove Spring's default logging dependency and then add Log4j2 dependency. So without wasting the time, just start our implementation. First of all, we will create basic structure. So this is the project name, Spring Log4j2. Then next, then we will take Spring Web. Finish. It's importing. So first of all, we have to remove the default dependency and add Log4j dependency. So we have to exclude the starter logging dependency from starter web and have to add Log4j dependency. This is our Log4j dependency that we are including. Just save it. Once we will save, it will download the Log4j2 dependency. Now we will create a controller class where we will write our logger statement. Now we have to create a logger instance. So we will use SL4j. So what is SL4j? SL4j is a facade. It will support Log4j, Logback, Java util logger, everything. So we should always use SL4j. And if we will use SL4j, we can change our implementation anytime. Means suppose now we are using Log4j, later we might move to Logback. We just have to change the dependency and configuration, and the logger statement will remain same. So this is the main reason for using SL4j. Now we will provide the logger. So what will be the expected behavior? Once this endpoint will call, this logger statement should display. So for that we need a configuration file. We can configure our log4j with different ways, using application property directly, or we can put log4j.xml file or log4j.yml file. But for this example we will use log4j.xml file. For that we already have some sample file which we will use. First we will create a log4j.xml file under resource folder. Then we will paste the sample that we already have. So I can give you some basic idea regarding this file. So this is the property. We can define any property. So this is the property name and this is the property value. Whenever we want to use this particular property, we will use this name, and depending upon this name, this value will use. And second part is appender and third part is logger. So what is appender? Log4j provides appender object which are primarily responsible for printing logging messages to different destinations such as console, file, NT-event logs, etc. Each appender object has different properties related to it, and these properties specifies the behavior of that object. So this appender having two property. This is console, so it will use to print something or to print the logger statement into console. And this is file property. This file property will use our logger statement will print into a log file. This is the name and this is the file name. So we have provided the file location as well as file name. And this is pattern layout. So what is pattern layout? Means in which pattern we will display the log. Pattern layout having a pattern property, and in pattern property we are using log pattern which already mentioned in property tag. So once within the $ curly braces log pattern will found, it will replace by this value. So what does it mean? %d hhmmss.sss. It is a timestamp with hour, minute, second and millisecond. Then %t, the thread name generating the log message surrounded by square quotes. Then %-5 label, the label of the logging event padded by 5 characters. So it will display the logging label. Is it debug or info or anything else? Third one is %logger within curly brace 36, the name of the logger truncated to 36 character. Last one is message n. Message means whatever message we will write. So for our case which will be this one, and %n means new line. Okay, so this value will be using here and here also. So whatever log will print in our console or in our file, so that log will be printed using this pattern. Now we will use this name and this name into our loggers. So here we will create our logger for a particular package. So I am using this package for debug label. So we have to create a logger with the name, the package name, and logger label is debug, and we will use appender ref and ref equal to these two. So for this particular package our console and file both logging will be enabled. Second one is org.springframework.boot. So this is our Springs package. If any error will happen for this package, then only console log will print. So for this scenario we are not using log to file appender ref. Third one is root. If any error will happen, so that error should be logged on console as well as file. This is the basic understanding of a log4j2.xml file. There are many other configuration also. but we have provided a simple example. If anyone having any query, please comment it in video's comment section. I will provide the answer. Next, we have to provide the port number 9000 and application name, which is spring hyphen log 4j2. Now we will start our this application. Once it will up, we will hit our endpoint. Now we will hit localhost 9000, then get data, enter. So controller is working. Let's see what's happening in our console as well as file. I will clear it and again hit. Once I will hit, we will get the timestamp and the thread logging label from where it's logging, means name of the logger, and third one is our message. So this is our console output. Now we have to check our log file. So we have used this path c:logs then app, c:log then app. If we will open this one, so we can see the same logger statement here. So in next tutorial we will see how to change the logging label dynamically without restarting the server. Hope this tutorial will helpful to you and we will see you in next tutorial. Thanks.